Hello, I am Priyanka. Welcomes you all in today's session. In today's session, I am going to explain multidimensional array and the examples on two-dimensional array. So, arrays that requires two indices or more than two indices are known as multidimensional array. If we take an example of two-dimensional array, so in that case information or data is stored in row and column format. For example, if I want to declare two-dimensional array variable, let's call 2D array, then I will define in provided syntax. Here if you see int 2D 2 square brackets is equal to new int. In first bracket I have mentioned 4 and in second bracket I have mentioned 5. If you see in 2D array, for declaring 2D array, I have defined int 2D square bracket is equal to new int 4 in first square bracket, 5 in another square bracket. So when you execute this sentence or this line of code, the 2D array will get initialized with size of 4 rows and 5 columns. The first indices indicates row and second indices indicates column. So let's see exactly two-dimensional array structure is. If I assume that array with m rows and n column will be called as m by n array. If you see this row 0, row 1, row 2, these are the m rows and column 0 to column 3, these are the n columns. On this particular location a data is stored at the location 0th row and 0th column and so on. So if you see A is a array name, 2 is a row index and 1 is a column index. So through using row indices and column indices we can access the data available inside two-dimensional array. So next we will start initializing two-dimensional array. So there are many ways to initialize two-dimensional array. Some of them I have mentioned over here. So for the example, we use the literal values 3 and 4. That means we will define an array which consists of 3 rows and 4 columns. So if you see this example, integer square brackets b. As in earlier videos I have shown that this declaration square brackets or this you can write after data type or you can write after array variable name or after b also you can write is equal to new int 3 and 4. So it indicates b is an array which will get initialized by 3 rows and 4 columns. So the array is of size 3 by 4. So if you see whenever you define or you specify number of rows and number of columns, so this 3 and 4 will be considered as literal values. This type of declaration not at all compulsory, you can do in these 3 ways also, or you can see a point 2 where I have declared integer b, that is two-dimensional array, and I am putting only first value. That first square bracket indicates rows and second square bracket indicates column. So I am just mentioning that I have to create b array with 2 rows. I have not mentioned how many columns I want to create because there is not a compulsion that column should be same for each and every row. You can vary column number to each and every row. Now you just move to the next line, that b of 0 means on the 0th row I want to create 5 columns. On first row I want to create 3 columns. So this way you can explicitly mention how many columns you want to define under each and every row. So now in this I have mentioned how we can define two-dimensional arrays using different ways. If you see I have mentioned here 4 types of ways. From this I am going to explain you first 3. I will request you just focus on the example through which I am going to explain all this and try this example afterwards. So we will go with the first example, that is using standard method, how you can define an array. In this example, I am defining two-dimensional array with the size 3 by 2. So 3 by 2 means I am going to define 3 rows which contains 2 columns using standard method. Standard method means at the time of declaration you are initializing the array. If you see, I have defined here add, which is my variable, array variable, which is declared as a type of int and which holds values for 3 rows and 2 columns. Now if you see this right side, within a curly braces you have to mention the values. First, within a curly braces, again I have 3 nested curly braces. So this first, second and third, this indicates number of rows. On 0th rows, I have 10 on 0th column, 20 on first column. On first row, I have a 30 and 40 on 0th and first column respectively. And same for second row, I have, or second indices, I have 50 and 60 on 0th column and first column. So this way you can use directly, or you can initialize your array directly with the values. After that, I have simply written system.out.println to display an array. I have already compiled here particular program, and if you see, it is just showing 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 in vertical lines. That data is not represented in the form of 2D, or it is not giving you feel of two-dimensional. So what you can do, you can use here a proper print statement. So if everyone knows, println is used whenever you want to print a data on next new line. So let's check whether it is working. Okay, fine. So if you see, I am getting a proper output in the form of two-dimensional array. So my 0th, first and second row, and this is 0th column and this is first column. So on 0th row I have 10, 20, on first row I have 30, 40, and on third row or second indices I have 50 and 60 values. This way you can use standard method to define your two-dimensional array. I hope you must have got this idea. Second, there is not at all compulsion to use same formatting using tab and new lines. You can use any way to arrange your two-dimensional array or to display your two-dimensional array in the form of rows and column structure. Next one is using for loop. So here if you see, I have shown one example which uses for loop for initializing two-dimensional array. So on the third row I have defined 2D two-dimensional array of type integer with the size 4 by 5, 4 rows and 5 columns. Now suppose you want to initialize your array with particular values or in consecutive values. Let's start with 1, 2, 3 and so on. So if you focus here, I have used 2 for loops for within a for, which is known as nested for loop. So for I is equal to 0, outer for loop represent rows, inner for loop represent columns. So first for loop is rotating for 4 because size of rows is 4 rows and size of column is 5. So nested inner for loop is rotating for the 5 rotations. Within that, if you focus here, I have defined k variable with value 1. So two-dimensional array I am initializing with 1 on 0th row and 0th column. So this is how I am initializing two-dimensional array using nested for loop. And once the value is assigned, I am incrementing k variable using increment operator. Afterwards, here if you see, again I am using nested for loop. Whenever you want to display two-dimensional array, you have to use nested for loop so that you can show up rows and columns. This is how you can print or you can display two-dimensional array. So you write down this program and see what output you get. So this is the example for two-dimensional array using input method, that is scanner class method, and taking input from the user to initialize an array. Now here if you see, I have defined a class with the name array input. I have imported java.util.scanner class to take or to use functions from the scanner class. Second, as in previous examples, I have explained how to use scanner class. So firstly, you have to create an object, then use a function according to which type of array you are defining. So here I am defining integer type of an array. So that's why firstly I am asking user to enter number of rows and number of columns for the array so that I can initialize it. So first thing I am asking enter row length, enter column length. I am using sc.nextInt to take the input and I am storing that into row variable and column variable. Once user gives input for number of rows and number of columns, you can declare and instantiate an array. So here I have declared integer type of an array of identifier A. It is two-dimensional, is equal to dynamically I am allocating the memory, new int, row and column. As we are not using literal, we are taking input from the user and that is going to differ every time. So I am using here variable row and column. This is how you can declare and instantiate an array. Next one, you are going to take input from the user for particular rows and column. Means for example, how you can define or which value you want to put at the 0th row and 0th column. Means for the first position, which value you want to put for 0th row and first column. That is second position. If we consider we are entering row wise value, then you can do in this way. So you just focus on 14th to 19th column. As discussed earlier, we are using here nested for loop. Outer loop will indicate rows, inner loop will indicate column. And I am displaying a message enter element for a particular row and particular column. And this is how you are taking the input using function nextInt. And whatever user gives the input, that we are storing on the provided position. So for very first occurrence of the loop, that is I is equal to 0, means row is 0th and column is 0th, I am going to store particular value. This is how it will end till you don't reach at the end of two-dimensional array size. Once it is done, then the similar manner you can display a total array using nested for loop and whatever way you want to display the loop. So firstly, you just go through this code, write this code on any editor and execute it. I will show you what output exactly we will get over here. Okay, our bytecode is generated. We can get the output. Let's say I am taking number of rows 2, number of column, let's take minimum 2. So enter element for first row and first column. So now it is showing you number. It means on the 0th indices you want to what you want to show. I am writing 1. You see elements in array are on row 0 I have 1 and 2. On row 1 I have 3 and 4. This is how you can use scanner class to take input from the user to define a two-dimensional array. I hope you must have understood all these concepts, how to use standard method, how you can use for loop and how you can use scanner to take input from the user and define two-dimensional array. All the programs you write down yourself, you try and see what kind of output you are getting. Thank you for watching the video. If you have any doubt, you can mention in the comment.